The wind from the west, from the sundered land, rot rides it, and the stench of blood. Cursed walker, will you travel there, to the valley of the unfortunate undead? Our young ones are taken by the child thief Turgol, known for his vile crimes and alchemy of flesh.
So opens Mork Borg, a fittingly dark introduction to the macabre game you are about to play. Hello and welcome to the RPG Blender, where we give lesser played games and forgotten settings the roll the dice they deserve. I'm your host, Game Master George, and today we will be delving into this setting, helping you to prepare to guide your players through this fallen world. I will do my absolute best to pronounce names correctly, however, I am an idiot. So, please take no offense if I pronounce names incorrectly. Before we move any further, please be advised that this is a depressing and violent world. Awful things happen here, and while I'll not be getting gory anywhere, the bad stuff does show up. We will also only be covering the setting from the standpoint of the primary book in the line. There may be other lore which has come out, but the goal here is to give you the basic understanding you would get from reading this book. A book which is now available free online. The bare bones edition, newly released, is available without the art and artistic formatting of the main book. A bit easier to read and very accessible, but I will say the full book is a beautiful piece of art. Anyway, let's delay no longer and dive into the world of Mork Borg. The world exists on the edge of oblivion. Prophecies of doom make clear that this place is in its final days. The world will end as was spoken by Verhu and written by the monk Anuk Schleger. At the heart of this world order are the Basilisks, a pair of twin-headed creatures which have become the center of much worship. He, capital H, has the heads Verhu and Gorge, while she, capital S, has the heads Lucy and Ark. Little is known of them aside from the prophecies of Verhu. Verhu is the most worshipped of the heads, and for fair reason. Verhu holds knowledge of the future. However, his prophecies are nearly always grim, speaking of inexorable annihilation. But still, if one knows of certain doom, perhaps there's a way to make it less certain. And since his words of prophecy are ever proven true, many come seeking his wisdom. Verhu's twin is Gorge, ever envious of his brother's knowledge, watching in bitter rage as the offerings to Verhu grow ever larger, far dwarfing his own. Little else is known of him, lost in the shadow of his twin. Then there are Lucy and Ark. She, first of the Basilisks. Lucy, the head of denial, and Ark, the head of deception. Notably, Ark claims to be the true first prophet of the truths given by Verhu. Alright, so the book is short and info on the locations in the game is as well, but let's go through what we have. First up is Tveland. Tveland. I tried. Within Tveland, Galgenbeck is home to the tomb of Anuk Schleger, now the greatest city that ever was. This place is ruled by the archpriestess Josilfa Meagol, rumored to have been given eternal life through a dark deal with Nechrubel, the shadow that covers all. Interestingly, Nechrubel is the god of melancholy, crop failure, conflict, war, basically all the bad things, and is rumored to be the actual source of Verhu's prophecies, which does make interesting the fact that all prophecies seem to be pointing toward more bad shit. Within Tveland, you will also find Sarkash, the ever-spreading forest. The twisting paths have led many an explorer astray, perhaps even to a halo of dying trees surrounding Graventosk. This ancient cemetery feels heavy, the very air itself seemingly rejecting the living. But lately, the air has grown warmer, and if you listen close, you may hear the sounds of frantic scratching nearby. Then, rising above the forest is the Palace of the Shadow King. Most of the black stone structure of this Gothic castle now lies in ruin, but the inner wing still stands, home to the Shadow King. Grift, like most of the world, lies in disrepair, cut off from the rest of the mainland by the bottomless Muir, only connected by 3 massive bridges. Once a peaceful place, even it has begun its fall. King Sigfume the Kind rules, at least in name. His kingdom has fallen and his name is mocked. Vile creatures pour from the ground and the bridges threaten to crack. So he prepares his people for the end. Calendars of the despairs spoken by Verhu spread through the streets. And when the last page turns, the king will lead his people to the end at the 1,000-meter cliff. Then there is Kergus, a barren, icy land, home to Allianz, the spire city of black glass. Within this city resides Blood Countess Anthelia in her castle of white stone. Even her eternal youth draws short now at the end of the world. She now seeks color and warmth, though her very presence drains the world around her of both. The Western Kingdom, known as Wastland, is ruled by King Fathmu IX from within the city of Schleswig. Once a wealthy kingdom blessed by the bounty of Lake Onda, it is now consumed by the Mad King's paranoia. Driven by obsession with Verhu's prophecies, the king raids his own people, taxing them to starvation. The Valley of the Unfortunate Undead lies at the end of many a person's road. Rumors claim he lives within the crypts, yet those who come find nothing but their death. Tales claim the very air will leech away your will to live, driving you to undeath. Yet there are those who come seeking Verhu, in the hopes of changing a prophecy of doom. As you can see, nothing is terribly fully fleshed out in this setting. Everything presented is a question, waiting for your game to decide the answer. So fittingly, the game does what it does best and gives you random tables. In the back of the book, you will find 3 tables. Where Do You Wander is a D12 table of locations mentioned in the settings section. Who or what contacts you gives D20 potential instigators of action, and Adventure Spark gives you 50 story seeds to build the experience around. But they don't stop there. If you're looking for help building out a dungeon, you will also find random tables for that. Draw out a loose map. The game recommends 10 rooms for a one-night adventure, though my group might make it through 5, and you can begin creating it. There are tables for the name, how active it is, what is creating a timer on exploration, who lives there now, a notable feature, and descriptions for rooms. So not only can your players create characters in just a few rolls, you can create a story seed and dungeons in the same amount of time. Now, with how much importance is placed on the prophecies of doom, there naturally needs to be a mechanic for that end of the world. For this, we have the calendar of Nechrubel. To begin the campaign, the GM and players should decide how long in-game the campaign should last, ranging from years to a few days. This will determine what die is rolled, from a D100 for years to a D2 for days. Each day at dawn, the GM will roll that assigned die. If the roll is a 1, a misery occurs. Roll D66 and consult the Psalms on page 17, pages 18 to 20 in the Bare Bones edition, to see what occurs in the world. On the 7th time a 1 is rolled, the final misery occurs. The world ends in fire and darkness. The game reaches its unsatisfying conclusion, and you, burn your book. All right, so you have your hook, your dungeon, and you have your world clock. How do you actually handle the monsters? As expected, monster stats are very minimal. Let's take a look at the Goblin as an example. There are 5 important mechanical aspects to the monster block. First, you'll see the HP. This is probably pretty obvious, but it is how much damage the creature can take before it goes down. Next to that, you will find the creature's morale. You'll remember this from the previous video. Roll 2d6 and compare to the creature's morale value. This is the value the morale roll is compared to. You will then see its armor, if any. In this case, the goblin has ropey skin, giving it a D2 of damage reduction. Then you have its attack. You will note it only has a damage die. As you may recall, all rolls are done by the player and at a set target number. As such, all that matters for the creature is how much damage will be done if the player fails their defensive roll. Finally, you have the special ability. In this case, representing the creature's quick movements, both attack and defense rolls are made at DR 14 instead of 12. Additionally, you have some fluff for the creature, as well as the bounty for killing, capturing, or harvesting, if possible, the creature. This all makes it very easy to create creatures quickly, needing only a handful of stats to be ready to get up and be murdering. Included in the book, and now actually be available for free online, link in the description, is a sample dungeon crawl adventure, Rotblack Sludge. We open on the players in a fitting spot for any Mork Borg adventure, about to be executed. However, a masked seer from the court of the Shadow King offers them a way out. Descend into the accursed den, rescue the king's son, Alden, and they will be rewarded with wealth, life, and freedom. The seer can then offer to scry the dungeon for them, but some of the visions may prove false. For a one-shot, letting the fallibility of the visions remain secret is a fine thing, but if your goal is for this to be part of a larger campaign, you should drop some hints that the visions may be obscured. After that, the players are free to descend into the dungeon. 3 rooms in particular are called out in advance: rooms 7, 8, and 14. In these rooms, you will roll a d4 for a random encounter, rolling twice on table A and once on table B. You can choose which room receives table B. After the setup, the dungeon is about what you would expect. Each room has a few short words on the feel of the air and some things found in it. You'll find a number of honestly fairly disconnected characters and events. There is a small through line of Alden, Leslie, Fletcher, and the Gutworm, but that only takes up a few of the rooms. Most rooms have NPCs or events which are singular occurrences, not tied to anything else. But that's okay. After all, this is a system of random characters on a random adventure. If you're expecting deep lore from the dungeon, probably not the game for you. So, what have we learned about running this game? Don't take anything too seriously. If you play this game for a serious, dark adventure, you won't likely find enough substance in either the system or the world. The game is in its ideal use case when you're embracing the random nature of it. If you're looking to run this game, you will find a plethora of free resources on the Mork Borg website. Not only will you get the bare bones edition there and the Rotblack Sludge adventure, you'll find random generators, extra threats, adventures, classes, items, and more. So if you're looking for more Mork Borg content, go check out the link in the description. So that's about it. You should now have some idea of the tools and settings available for running this game. What's your favorite little hook they've added to the setting? For me, I love the idea of the calendar of Nechrubel and the hint that maybe all the prophecies come twisted by his purview of bad stuff. It gives a glimmer of hope in an otherwise dark world that maybe there is another god out there with prophecies of a hopeful tomorrow, a way to counter the doom. The existence of this potential ray of hope gives a great way for you to
crush your players even more.
After all, destroying a hope is far more effective than just layering on despair on despair. If you like the sound of the game, you can of course pick up the bare bones edition free. Or if you prefer this gorgeously depraved little art book, you can pick it up at the affiliate links below. Get a new game and help support the channel. We do have a Patreon, coffee, tip jar, all that good stuff, but really, if you want to help out, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. All those engagements help tell YouTube to put this video out in front of more people. Anyway, if you'd like to learn about more games, maybe check out these 5 dino-themed games, or this tutorial on Don't Rest Your Head. Thanks again for watching, and remember, there's gaming outside the Forgotten Realms.